Okay, hi everyone, welcome to the first ukulele lesson. Today we're gonna talk about this instrument here. This is the ukulele, and I'm guessing all of you have a ukulele in front of you right now. We're gonna learn how to play some chords on the ukulele, and by the end of these lessons, hopefully you'll be able to play some of your favorite songs. Alright, but before we begin, let's just talk about this instrument over here. So this here is an ukulele. Alright, the ukulele is a stringed instrument. Okay, there are 4 strings on the ukulele, and we can play the ukulele by either strumming or by plucking. Alright, so the ukulele is an instrument that comes from Hawaii. Right, and a lot of the Hawaiians use this instrument to play a lot of the traditional Hawaiian music. Okay, but recently a lot of people now have been using the ukulele to play pop songs. Right, you can see a lot of people playing ukulele on YouTube. Right, a lot of people are posting videos on the streets. People are basking, so just overall a very useful instrument to know how to play, and also a simple one to play. Okay, so let's start off by learning about the different parts that exist on the ukulele. Okay, so the instrument has 3 main parts. Okay, right on top here. Okay, we have the head of the ukulele. Okay, and right after the head we have the neck of the ukulele, and right at the bottom here we have the body. Okay, so on these 3 main parts there are some other small parts, so let's just go through. Okay, let's go through the body first. On the body we have this part over here. This is the bridge. Okay, the bridge of the ukulele is where you will tie the strings. Alright, so that the strings will stay in place when you play them. Okay, and next we have this part over here. This is the sound hole. Okay, the sound hole of the ukulele, we're going to use it as a marker, an indicator for where we should strum. So when we strum, okay, to strum is to just brush down the strings. Okay, you can try this right now on your ukulele. Just strum together with me. Just brush the strings down from the top to the bottom. Right, so that is strumming, and when we strum, we want to strum just around the sound hole area. Okay, we don't want to strum too near the bridge. Okay, that's not very nice. Okay, and we don't want to strum too far away on this side as well. So we just want to strum on the sound hole like this. Alright, and next let's move on to the neck. Okay, so the neck of the ukulele has strings. Okay, we have 4 ukulele strings, and we always count the strings from the bottom. Okay, so you can count with me on your ukulele. So remember, the head of the ukulele, it should always be on your left side. So if some of you are holding it this way right now, this is wrong. I want you to just rotate so that the head is on the left. Okay, and when the head is facing the left, right at the bottom, okay, is string number 1. So you can try plucking with me, string number 1. Okay, good. And now let's try to pluck the top one, string number 2. Okay, and then let's try plucking string number 3 and string number 4. Okay, good. Your last string might not sound the same as mine, but that's okay. The note is still the same. Okay, next let's move on to the boxes over here. So if we look from the head and we count downwards, we can see these different sections, these boxes. Okay, these boxes are called frets. Okay, so on the first string we can go along the first string, but as we go along, we're going along the different boxes. So the box is the fret. So along the first string, you can try with me, just slide your strings along the first string on fret number 1, and you're going to use the pointer, and let's slide to fret number 2, and then we're going to slide to fret number 3, slide to fret number 4, slide to fret number 5. Okay, very good. Let's try that again, this time on the second string. So the second string also has a lot of frets, okay, all the way until here, but we are just going to count together with the pointer finger the first fret, and we're going to slide the finger along the second string to the second fret, and let's slide it again to the third fret, slide it again to the fourth fret, and to the fifth fret. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the third string. Okay, so the third string, same thing. Let's just do a quick one. We'll slide to the first fret, slide to the second fret, slide to the third fret, slide to the fourth fret, and slide to the fifth fret. Very good. And lastly, the last string. Slide to the first fret, slide to the second fret, slide to the third fret, and now on your own I just want you to slide all the way to the end and just count how many frets there are on your ukulele. Okay, so just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. So you should have at least 12 frets on your ukulele. Okay, very good. Now let's move on to the head of the ukulele. So this section over here is the head. Okay, so on the head we have these things here, and these are called the tuners. Okay, the tuners of the ukulele allow you to tune the ukulele. Alright, and before we play an instrument, a stringed instrument like the ukulele, we have to make sure that the strings are in tune. Okay, but for now, if you have an adult near you, you can get them to try to tune the ukulele for you. Alright, if not, then that's okay. Just remember not to touch these things over here, because if you touch these things and you turn it around, the sound that comes out of the ukulele might not be as nice as it should be. So just leave it alone, don't touch, right? But that is all the different parts of the ukulele. Okay, so now let's move on to how we should hold the ukulele. Okay, so when we hold the ukulele, remember the sound hole over here? Okay, you can try this together with me. We want the sound hole to be facing in front, pointing in front. Okay, so we don't want the ukulele to be pointing up like this. Okay, so this is wrong. Let's try to turn it so it points in front. Alright, very good. Against your stomach. So rest the ukulele against your stomach like this. Okay, and with your right arm, okay, the right part of your arm, this part over here, just push the body of the ukulele against your stomach. Okay, and you can use your fingers here to hold the ukulele like this. So if you're doing this just nicely, your thumb should be just above the sound hole, and you can just brush lightly. Okay, and you can also check that you're holding properly by lifting your left hand. Okay, so if you lift your left hand, you look at my ukulele, it is still in place. It doesn't drop like this. So if you lift up your left hand and the ukulele drops, that means you're not holding properly. And how do you make sure you hold properly and the ukulele doesn't drop? You push it against your stomach, and you use this part of your hand to just hold it in place like this. Okay, so now without your left hand, let's just try strumming together. So we'll go for 4 strums like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, very good. Let's try it again. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, very nice. So now let's look at the left hand. Okay, so the left hand has 4 fingers and a thumb. Okay, we are going to use the thumb, put it behind the ukulele like this. So behind the ukulele, and once the thumb is behind, okay, we can move our fingers in front and we can wiggle our fingers freely. So let's try to wiggle our fingers. First we have finger number 1, your pointer finger, so just wiggle that finger for me. Okay, finger number 2, wiggle. Okay, just wiggle that finger. Okay, finger number 3, let's wiggle that finger. Okay, good. Finger number 4. Okay, very nice. And today we're going to use, for now, finger number 3. This finger over here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we're going to slide the third finger along the first string. Okay, so let's just slide together with me. We're going to slide to the first fret of the first string. So remember, these components are called the frets. And we're going to move our finger to the second fret. Okay, and we're going to move it to the third fret. Okay, we're just going to stay there. So let's try that again with our third finger. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to move it along the first string, the bottom string. We're going to go to the first fret, the second fret, and the third fret. Good. And once you're on the third fret, make sure you're using the tip of your finger, the tip right at the tip here, and you press it down. Push as hard as you can. Okay, let's press it down for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and if you lift your finger, you can see that. Don't know if you can see at the camera. Okay, but there is a line on my finger right over there. Okay, the line should be on your finger as well if you're pressing hard enough, and it should be at the tip of your finger. Okay, so if you're pressing with the wrong part of your finger, if you're pressing with the fleshy part of your finger here, okay, and you look at the line will be on the fleshy bit. Can you see it's on the fleshy bit? This is wrong. Has to be right at the tip. So now let's try again. Finger number, remember thumb should be behind the ukulele, behind, alright? Finger number 1, wiggle it. Finger number 2, wiggle it. Finger number 3, and we're gonna slide 2, 3 with the tip of your finger. Press it down hard. Okay, now this time as we are pressing, I want to use your thumb of your right hand and just strum it down with me. Very good. Let's try that again. 1, 2, ready, go. Very nice. Okay, so let's lift up our finger. Let's do that same thing again using our third finger. 1, 2, 3. Go to the third fret of the first string, and we're gonna strum 2, ready, go. Very nice. Okay, so now what we are doing here, this thing that we're doing here, we're strumming all the strings. Again, we're pressing on the third fret. Okay, this is what we call the C chord on the ukulele. Okay, so the C chord is one of the chords that we're going to use to play songs. Alright, so there are many chords that exist. Okay, this is a chord, this is the C chord, this is the A minor chord, this is the F chord, this is the G chord. Okay, and you can hear that all these chords sound very different, and if we play them together and we arrange them differently, we get a song. Okay, so before we can play a song, we must learn a few chords. Here we must learn at least 2 chords in order to play a song. Alright, so let's try again. So this chord that we're doing right now with the first fret, the first string and the third fret, pressing just that, this is called the C chord. Okay, so just remember the name of the chord. It's the C chord. Alright? C chord. Now, let's lift up our finger, lift up our hands. And when I start counting, I'm going to count to 4, and I want you to just move as fast as you can to the C chord. Okay, to the C chord means to this position over here. Alright, so let's try. When I start counting, let's just move along. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we strum. Alright, let's try that again. Hands up. 2, 3, 4, and strum. Very nice. And now let's stop playing for a while and let's look at the diagram. Okay, so if you look now at the left side of the screen, okay, you can see that there is this box over here. So this box is called a chord diagram. Okay, so the chord diagram tells us how to play chords, where to press on the string and on the frets. But before we know how to use it, we need to learn how to read it. Okay, so let's try to read the chord diagram. So if you look at the screen here, in a sec, you can see that on the diagram, okay, I'm just going to add a circle here so you can see. Okay, you can see that my circle is moving. Okay, and my circle is moving along this line. Right? What is this line? This line is the first string of the ukulele. Okay, so on the first string we have the first fret. So if I move my ring finger, the one I was using just now, okay, this dot is now on the first line and it is on the first box, right? The first box, so it's on the first fret. Now if I move this circle down to the next section, okay, it means that my finger has to move to the next section. And if I move the circle once more along the same line, because we want it to be on the first string, we move our finger along as well to the third one. Alright, and I can go one more along the same line, the fourth one, so we move our finger. Alright, so we can do this on the second string as well. So now look at my dot. The dot is now on the second line. It's no longer on the first line. Okay, I changed it. It is now on the second line. So that means it is along the second string. Okay, so now the circle is on the first box. Okay, the first fret of the second string. And I'm going to move along that line to the second fret. So now we're on the second fret, and I'm going to move it again to the third fret. That means we have to move along to the third fret and move along again to the fourth fret. Alright, we can do the same to the next string now. Okay, so it's no longer on the first string, it's no longer on the second string, it is now on the third string, and it is in the first box, the first fret. Alright, so let's move that along to the second fret. We can move our fingers along to the second fret. We can also move it along again to the third fret. Alright, and right now I'm going to change it to the next string. So now it's on the last line, the last string. So which string is it on now? Okay, it's on the fourth string. Okay, so this line. And which fret is it on? It's on the third fret. So we're going to move our finger 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so that is how you read this diagram over here. Alright, the chord diagram is very important that you know how to read this. So if you didn't understand it, okay, feel free to pause the video and rewind it back to the start of the explanation and just listen to it once more. Alright, but for now let's continue on to going back to the C chord. So again, how do we go to the C chord? Thumb behind the ukulele, Okay, wiggle finger number 1, wiggle finger number 2, finger number 3, and we're going to slide it to the first fret, second fret, third fret, like that. So this is the C chord. And on the diagram now, I want you to try to think, where should the circle be placed if we want to show the C chord in the diagram. Okay, so let's find it on the diagram. Okay, so we know that the C chord is on the first string. So should we put the circle on this line, or this second line, or the third line, or the fourth line? So I think since it is the first string, it should be the first line. So we know that it is along this line. Alright, and which fret is it on? It's on the third fret. So along that line, let's go to 3, to the third fret. Alright, but that's not the end of the diagram yet, because we also need to position, we also play these 3 strings, right? So these 3 strings are 0, we're not pressing anything. So how do we show on the diagram that we're not pressing anything? We can put circles over the sections that we're not pressing anything. So now this becomes the diagram of the C chord. Alright, good. So C chord, let's try that again. Look at the diagram as you play, make sure it makes sense. Hands up when I count to, as I count to 4, you can move your ring finger 1, 2, 3 slowly to the C chord. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's strum. Okay, look at the diagram, make sure you understand how it links up to the diagram. Okay, good. Now let's try, since we know how to read the diagram, I'm going to go to another chord position, and I want you to try to find on the ukulele. Okay, so this is the chord position. You can pause the video and just find on your own, and once you're done, you can continue the video. Okay, go. Alright, so let's look at the diagram. Okay, the dot is on which line is it on? Okay, it's not on line number 1. Okay, it's not along this line. It's not along line number 2, but we're going all the way up to line number 3 and line number 4. Okay, so line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, number 4. So this line, and it's on the second fret. So second fret over here. Alright, so this is the chord shape, but we're missing some information now. We also need to play the other strings, but we don't have to press anything. So let's just put zeros over there right outside the lines. Okay, so now we have the full chord diagram, and this is called the A minor chord. So on the 4th string with your, let's use our second finger for this one. Second finger now. You just press it and let's strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Let's try that again. Hands up. Let's go back to this chord. This is called the A minor chord. Let's go back to the A minor chord. Fingers down and strum. Very good. Hands up. Let's go back to the A minor chord and strum. Okay, very nice. So now let's compare the 2 chord diagrams. Okay, let me just change this to this. Okay, and we can ignore the bottom 2. Let's just focus on the bottom 2 chords. Okay, the C and the AM. So these are the two chords that we've done today. And let's compare them. So for C, we have a note on the first string, third fret, and remember we gotta use our ring finger, so this finger. Okay. And for A minor, we gotta use our middle finger, and we gotta press the last string over here. So let's look at how my finger is moving. C, like this. A minor, like this. C, A minor. C, A minor. So I want you to try and do this movement with me. So go to the C chord, and we're gonna walk. It's like we're walking. We just change our fingers to the next one to take the next step to A minor. Alright? And then from A minor, let's move a step back, and we go to C again. Remember to change your fingers. So now we're gonna use our A minor now. Change the finger, and we got A minor. Very good. So now see if you can do this. We'll do 2 strums of C and then 2 strums of A minor. This is how it should sound. C and A minor and A minor. Okay, try it on your own. C and A minor and A minor. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to show on the score right at the top an exercise that I want us to try together. So let's just look at the score on top. Okay, so you can see on the score. Okay, so this is the music score. Okay, so you can see that my box is moving along. The bars, okay, these are called the bars. And as I move along the bar, you can see that right at the top there are the alphabets. So what do you think the alphabets mean? Okay, the alphabets represent the chords. So we have C, and we have C, and we have A minor, and A minor, and C, C, and A minor, A minor. Okay? And look at just at the start of the bar, there is these 2 numbers, 4 and 4. So what does the 4 mean? The 4 just means for now that we have to count 4 counts, 4 beats every time we're in one box. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the second box 2, 3, 4, and the third box 2, 3, 4, and so on. Alright? As the box is moving, we will strum. So let's just try this exercise together. On the first box, okay, we have C, and then we count to 4. Ready, go. C, 2, 3, 4, and then we strum C again. 2, 3, and then we go A minor, 2, 3, 4, and A minor again, and we're going to go to C, 3, 4, and C, 2, 3, 4, and C, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, 4. Okay, very good. Alright, so for the remainder of the lessons, I want you to try and see if you can do this movement over here as fast as you can. C, and then C, and then A minor, and then C, and then A minor. Once you're okay with 2 strums, I want you to increase it on your own, so that after you do 2, you try 4 strums. So 4 times of C, 4 times of A minor. So an example will be like this: 1, 2, 3, and then we change to A minor. 1, 2, and then we change back to C, and then we change change back to A minor. Okay, and once you're comfortable with that, we try even more. We'll try 8 strums and we go even faster. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and we change to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and C. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and A minor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We stop there. Okay, so spend the remainder of the time practicing this. Okay, first 2 strums each, and then go to 4 strums, and then go to 8 strums. Okay, and remember, change your fingers. Alright, practice hard, and on the next video, once you're really comfortable with moving, and once you're comfortable with holding your ukulele, make sure you practice holding it the right way. Don't hold it like this. Sound hole facing in front. Okay, hold it, push it against your stomach. Alright, push it down. Okay, once you're done with this, on the next video we can start to learn our first song. Okay, so look forward to that. In the meantime, just practice and make sure you can do the chords well. Alright, have fun.